A while back, I got on a real serious walking kick. I was really into walking for fat loss, and it's probably the leanest that I had gotten in a while, and it was just from walking. Then, shortly thereafter, I got on a running kick, and I was still lean, but I found it harder to stay lean, even though I was actually burning more calories significantly running than I was walking. And this came from a lot of just this banter on the internet. Well, walking doesn't burn that much fat because you don't burn that many calories. Well, running, you incinerate calories. So make no mistake, anyway, you've seen it all before. But when you start diving into the literature, and I stumbled across a paper that was really interesting that really helped make some sense of things. This really is the main reason why walking is probably so good for fat loss. So let's go ahead and get into it. I put a link down below for, well, something that you can sip on while you're walking. It's LMNT electrolytes. These are sugar-free, no-calorie electrolytes that are 1,000 milligrams sodium, 200 milligrams potassium, and 60 milligrams magnesium in the most epic flavors. You've got like a grapefruit salt, a watermelon salt, you've got lemon lime, you've got mango chili, you've got chocolate, you've got unflavored. They just rolled out their entire sparkling line, which is awesome, like ready to drink. So it's LMNT electrolytes in a can that's sparkling. This stuff is unreal, super, super cool. Anyway, the link down below gets you a free sample variety pack with any purchase. So anytime you purchase anything from them using my link down below, you get a free variety pack of all the different flavors. So you can give it to your friends, you can keep it for yourself, whatever. It's a huge value. And LMNT is just awesome. I sip on it when I'm fasted. I sip on it when I'm doing my cardio because it makes it so that I just don't feel like eating. So it's easier for me to fast, it's easier for me to control my calories, and it tastes amazing. So that link is down below, drinklmnt.com/Thomas. So the study that I uncovered was actually published in the journal Obesity. And it took a look at running, walking, or no activity. And it was looking at specific hormones. It was looking at something called peptide YY. It was looking at another hormone called ghrelin. And it was actually looking at GLP-1, glucagon-like peptide 1, which we see all over the place now. Fascinating stuff. It basically found that running increased all of these hunger hormones, but it also increased GLP-1, which usually comes as an offset to ghrelin. So essentially, we have very strong evidence that the higher the intensity of the cardio, the increased appetite. And this is nothing bad. This is your body protecting you. When you do intense activity, you're going to have a law of compensation that comes into effect that tells you, okay, you should probably eat more to replenish, to refuel, to rebuild, and to survive and protect. So the more sort of artificial kind of stimulus we give ourselves with artificial stressful workouts and high intensity workouts, which I'm a fan of, by the way, the more that we're going to probably have a high appetite, which is why we need to dose those things appropriately. We're not really designed, unless we are absolute athletes, we're not designed to be going balls to the wall every day. Like, we don't do that. And that's going to send us into this almost death spiral of just feeling like we need to eat more and eat more and eat more. What's interesting is walking in this study did not induce any of those hormones. It did not increase them at all. It didn't increase ghrelin, it didn't increase GLP-1, and it didn't increase peptide YY. It kept it flat. So here's what's wild. For simple math, could be wrong, but simple math. Let's say you run for 45 minutes. It might take you 2 hours to burn the same amount of calories walking. Okay? I get that. So calorie for calorie or calorie for time, you're gonna burn more calories and you're gonna probably lose more weight running. I get that. Okay, but that's if you were living in a metabolic ward where diet was controlled all the time. Okay, where you were given a certain amount of food every day. Okay, you're not a rat, right? You're a human. You like to eat and you're gonna succumb to the temptation that's around you. So you run for 45 minutes and then you eat, right? You go for a walk for 2 hours. You do not get the increase in hunger hormones. So you don't have this feeling like you need to compensate. And can we just be real here? Being away from your kitchen and your pantry and your snacks and your good tasting food for 2 hours is probably better than being away from it for 45 minutes. Most of us could stand to go on a walk for the sheer simple fact that it gets us out of our pantry and out of our kitchen for 2 hours. So we actually have a double effect that we don't even think about. Not to mention the fact that if you go walk for 2 hours versus run for 45 minutes, you are burning more fat as a percentage of fuel. So if you go out and you do 60 minutes of activity, running versus walking, running is going to burn more calories. Walking is going to burn more calories from fat as a percentage. But the running probably still burned more fat overall. For example, let's say you burned 1,000 calories running and 500 of it was from fat. Well, let's say you burned 500 calories walking. You might have burned more as a percentage. Maybe you burned 350 from fat. So that's great that most of the calories you burned was fat, but at the end of the day, the running still netted out 500 from fat, right? Point is, we can't break that math. That's just the way it is. But when you get home from your run and you quickly inhale 500 calories that you didn't realize, versus you get home from a walk and you just seamlessly go back into your day like nothing happened and you're not trying to compensate, you are going to likely end up leaner. Caveat, there is a study that clearly demonstrates how effective diet is over exercise. This was published in the European Journal of Preventive Cardiology. It took a look at subjects that were running 3 times per week for 12 weeks, or they restricted them to 1,000 calories per day. The 1,000 calorie per day group, instead of running, they lost 10.6% of their weight and 26.6% fat mass. You know how much the running group lost that didn't change their diet? 1.6% weight loss, 5.5-ish% total fat mass. So the weight loss really came from the caloric restriction. It really came from the dieting. The cardio without the dieting didn't do that much. So I'm not saying that running isn't amazing and isn't effective, but what I am saying is that it is significantly easier for you to put yourself into a caloric deficit because most of the carbs are going to fall where you want them to by just walking. You don't think about it as exercise, you don't have internal laws of compensation, and you're just moving, and that's what your body likes to do. And then, side note, what you do is you supplement that walking with resistance training, and that preserves the muscle, and that creates more muscle mass for you to burn with while you walk. You see, your muscles are metabolic sinks. They burn fuel, and the mitochondria in your muscles burn fuel. You have more sites where fat oxidation can occur, and where glycolysis can occur, and where this happens, right? So, if you build more muscle, and then you burn fat with that muscle, every step you take is going to burn more fat if you have more muscle on you. Plain and simple. As always, keep it locked in here on my channel. See you tomorrow.